I know you know how to create content on any social media app today, but do you know how much the creator economy is worth today? Do you know how much content creation generates and how to take your own share of it? Well, I'll tell you all of that, but before I go on, let me tell you why the thumbnail says creating time, creating wealth. For every time you create a visual content, whether it's a sports highlight or a food prep, a comedy special, each of those times you create a special kind of time for your watchers that adds to their wealth of experience. You take what would have been an ordinary uneventful 20 minutes or 30 minutes, recreating it to give them an experience they have never had before. And all it took to achieve that was your time and your knowledge. This would actually create wealth for you. But let's get right back to the issue at hand. According to Goldman Sachs, a recent study shows that the creator economy is worth $250 billion as of today and will reach $480 billion by 2027. Now, what does this mean? It means, number one, that more people will get into the creator space than already exists, both users and creators. Number two, it means that more of these people will have ample time to script and create their content. And number three, this could also mean that not a lot of these content creators have the finance to fund the ambition of content creation. In fact, according to HubSpot 2022 report, 30% of the surveyed 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds and 40% of 25-year-olds to 34-year-olds consider themselves as content creators. Now the question is, how many of these 18-year-olds and 24-year-olds have a load of cash to fund their ambition? However, if they could put in the work today, they could become the top earners tomorrow. Also, a great percentage of them may not be able to put in the work today in terms of consistency, quality, and so on. So the question boils down to who is willing to put in the work today to become a top earner tomorrow. And it's only those who are willing to put in the work today that will excel most. Let me tell you a story. Growing up, I remember my father calling me into the living room one cool evening. Several thoughts were racing through my mind that day, one of which was, what have I done again? I could hear my alter ego say, so you mean you want to cause trouble after all you've done in school? I had just left the secondary school at that time. Not long after I took a seat in the living room, he asked me, what do you want to study in the university? That singular question was important for me at that stage in my life. Back then, kids wanted to be doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers. Then we went into an era when kids could say they want to be footballers and magicians and musicians, and they wouldn't get lynched by their parents. Today, if you were to ask a group of teenagers, you may likely get the answer content creator or YouTuber. Since this is a new reality, so how then do you take your share of this rapidly growing creator economy, and what do you need? But before I go on, I hope you've hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification for subsequent videos on this channel. Let me help you understand what you need. Now, assuming you were called into a room where you could make one of two choices: A, $1 million and you get it, and B, $1 million equivalent in time, assuming 1 minute is worth $50. If I had said 1 hour is worth $50, that would mean a lot of days if I were to factor it in days. But a minute is just worth $50. The question is, how many minutes can $1 million get you? And that will be about 20,000 minutes. Now, of course, there are 1,444 minutes in 24 hours, which is a day. So how many days could be factored into 20,000 minutes? And that's a little above 13 days. So you have a choice to choose A, $1 million and you get it, or $1 million equivalent in time, which we've just factored into 13 days. In today's creator economy, you could triple your money in 13 days or less if you have multiple contents go viral. The possibility now is endless. Whereas if you had chosen $1 million and decided to build a business, your business may likely fail if you don't give it your time. It's called presentism, which you have heard me say often. But if you have time in your hands, you can gain experience in whatever you want to do and even build it as a business. It's a different ballgame if you have money in your hands. You may need to spend some of that money and your time to get any experience. Let me say it again. If you have time in your hands, you can gain experience even if you don't have any at the moment. But if you have money in your hands and you decide to build a business, you can only succeed in building a standing business if you give it your time. I would like to read you the writings of a wise man, actually two wise men, and help you understand why time is your needed asset in today's creator economy. Now, the first which I would like to read is from Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. Whoever keeps a command will know no evil thing, and the wise heart will know the proper time and the just way. Verse 6. For there is a time and a way for everything, although man's trouble lies heavily on him. My focus here is on the second part of verse 5 and verse 6. Now, having established that in today's creator economy, you will need to be a content creator, the wise man would know that now is a proper time to be a content creator. Having established all of my facts about the creator economy, the wise heart, the wise man or woman will know that today, now, is a proper time to be a content creator. Be a content creator, whether it's visual content, audio content, or written content. Be a content creator in all your doings. Create. Learn the right way to create the kind of content you want to get involved in and get started. Don't just consume content, create. Irrespective of the weight of misery, poverty, or even indecision that hangs on you, you should never give up. Don't let your misery cancel your mission. You have to create content in today's world if you want to be a top earner. You know, the truth is, whether you give time to create that content or not, time will surely pass by. What will your life be in 10 years' time without any value you have created for the next person? Some people have thought to start 5 years ago. Now 5 years have gone by and they've not started yet. How do you solve that for yourself? So the big question is, when is the right time to start creating content? So let's read the second writing from another wise man. It's from the book called Lamentations, chapter 3. It's an interesting chapter. You can read the whole chapter if you like, but I would like to focus on 3 verses in that chapter. Verse 27, 28, and 29. Verse 27. It is good for a man that he bears the yoke in his youth. Verse 28. Let him sit alone in silence when it is laid on him. Verse 29. Let him put his mouth in the dust. There may yet be hope. You've probably heard the Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The best time to start your creation mission is now. I mean, if you have not started, start now. Take a paper, take a pen, and script your next video. It might not be the best. Of course, it definitely wouldn't be the best because you're expected to get better as you keep going. But take a pen, take a paper, and script your next content. It might just be what you need to start. Bear the yoke now. Don't put off till tomorrow what you could have started today. Sometimes the process would need you to sit alone in silence and figure it out Put in all the hard work to make it happen now that you are still young. Figure out your next move or even your next 10 moves, or sit alone in silence and make it work. It's probably what you need to change your life. Along the way, you will meet people who will show you unfeigned rejection. You will meet people who will rub your mouth in the dust, but never give up for the sake of the possibility of hope. I mean, who has not faced a challenge ever? So you might want to hold on to that mission of creating content and creating value for the next person. It is one thing that could change your life for the better. Switch on your lights and face your camera. It is the best thing you have done to yourself. You know, not too long ago, I came up with NACON, a funny acronym at that, with the word light, living in great hope today. Those who turn on their lights are those who are living in great hope today, not tomorrow. Hear the words of the Chinese philosopher Confucius. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If you think in terms of 10 years, plant a tree. And if you think in terms of 100 years, teach people. When you think long term, you will create value that lasts as long as you have thought. Create content. That is something that will never phase out. Whether you think your knowledge is something that is not important, you'll be surprised at how many people want to learn what you already know, and you could create value for them. If you think long term, your only option is to teach people. If you're new to this channel, please, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification till I come your way next time. Peace.